Hello, welcome to the well. Maria from Bloom A Life You Love and Angela from Grounded Dreamers. Happy Memorial Day. All right, so let's all center into the well. A moment to take a breath in and just let that breath oxygenate every cell. And as you exhale, releasing stress, releasing burdens, and then bring our awareness to the arches of our feet. Take a breath in and use that breath to open up the energy centers in the arches of the feet. And as you exhale, grow roots down into the earth, grounding, centering, and taking a moment to feel gratitude for something in your life. It could be anything. Just take a moment to acknowledge that gratitude. Beautiful. And then we'll move into the first part of the reading.
Okay. All right. So we start out in a drought. I pulled drought. So this is that sense that things aren't working. There aren't any answers that are evident. I'm too burdened by everything. There's no, life being breathed into my experience. I'm in, lack mentality, basically. So how do we move from that? This is the path to move ourselves from that. I pulled 4 oracles and 4 Zen cards to clarify. So the clarifier for drought is burden. So specifically your mental burdens. This is a mental card, mind card, the clouds in the Zen tarot. I think it's the swords in the regular tarot. And this is too many burdensome thoughts, too much weight in your mental planning, and there's no clarity and you're all fogged up. So that is where we start, right? With the drought, with the feeling of lack and no answers to move forward. We move now to the response to that is focus. Focus on use your thoughts only for focusing on those things that are working, focusing on your higher good, taking, maybe even like I was saying in the group earlier, find ways to redirect your thoughts that are meaningful for you. Find a way to, when these thoughts come in and things aren't working, oh my gosh, I can't, I'm not, find a way of, tell yourself, 180 or do the flip or whatever it is you can tell yourself that helps you to go, okay, where can I redirect my focus now? Oh, here's the things that are working. These things are great. And I'm really lucky that, and I'm so grateful that, whatever those things are. This will lead you to either a series of or a big breakthrough in the way that you respond to those burdens or that feeling of drought. It will help. You just find these little mental tricks that help you slowly shift it, tick by tick. It's not going to all transform all at once, but it does help to shift your focus, and it can start with your mind and practices, and then the breakthroughs come. And then the next set of cards I pulled are inner knowing and trust. So this is kind of like, now that you've been able to redirect those thoughts of lack a little bit, right? Even if it's once out of every 5 times that they come, you're sort of greasing the wheels to move in the other direction. Then you start to gain more and more trust from within that, oh yeah, this is working. I feel better about it today. Another way I do this is to look backwards. Instead of the worry and the unknown that's ahead of me, I look back on the times that things were unclear or challenging, and I realize I overcame that. I made it through. I came out stronger. Whatever those, everyone has that in their past. And that helps me to feel secure and instill more trust in my present awareness now, because it worked out before, it's bound to work out again, right? So that always helps for me, is to do a review of the things that did work. And then the next card I pulled is transformation. Now it begins. Now our shifts, even if it's little by little, like we said, those little breakthroughs, now we're really transforming. And this little passage here says, I am joyously centered and safe as wonderful changes occur around me. And those include the ones that don't feel so wonderful. Because remember, looking back in the past, we realized those were lessons. Those were opportunities for us to change for the better. And so any of the changes and, shifts and points of resistance that the drought card made us focus on, the lack, can be transformed with a little bit of inner work. And that starts with that focus on the good. And then after the transformation card, I pulled going with the flow. So like we said in the group, we went from drought to flow, right? Now we're in the flow because of sort of pivoting the way we approach and think of some of these things that feel like they're not working out. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Trusting the flow. Yeah. I love what you said too about remembering back over past things that have occurred as a way of anchoring into, okay, yeah, I can trust this. Okay, yeah, I can trust this. I do the same thing. Yeah. Kind of remembering back. So yeah, I just want to invite everybody to just take a moment and tap into your inner knowing inside. That's where our intuition lives. That's where our instincts are communicating to us through. And just take a moment to go back through your own history. Maybe you might be going through a struggle right now. Just take a moment to remember things that you've gone through in the past, struggles that you've had, and how you overcame them. Maybe mystical and magical things occurred. Maybe things aligned just so. Just take a moment to reflect on that. Begin to feel into also what this reading is kind of illuminating for you in terms of your intention for this week. Take another deep breath in, and this time release any burdens and lack. And again, start to bring focus to what your intention is kind of taking form as for the week. And then we'll go into the second part of the reading. All right. Ready?
Yes. Okay, sorry. So now this is interesting. So remember the last thread, the first card we pulled was drought, and we did the practices, shifted our focus, and moved into flow. So the water, this is a water sign flowing. And now with this spread, the first card I got is thunderstorm. So now there's water everywhere, right? This is, right. It's upheaval, rude awakenings, big dramatic shifts, or, things that are happening out of your control are, really blowing up. But what we remember, and I love how this figure, he's dancing in the rain. He's dancing in the thunderstorm because he knows that the result of that,
which is touching his heart.
He has the lightning is, it's activating his heart. But we know that the outcome, usually the aftermath of a storm like that, is clarity. The skies are clearer, things are brighter, there's more, life coming up again, right? Because the rain kind of washed it all away. Things are out of our control, but we still decide how to navigate, right? And a lot of times that is, it happens with that focus that we talked about in the last spread. One way that we as humans sort of sometimes emotionally react to upheaval like that is by clinging to the past. And that we know keeps us in place, that gets us nowhere. I want it to be the same as it was. Why is all this change happening around me? Why can't it be how it was? Right? Well, as evolving creatures, what would we get if we clung to the past? Just really no growth, no movement, no clarity. She's got her box of memories around her head, but she's missing out on the brightness and the little sparkly presence that's right there in front of her, because she's she's clinging so much to what was. So that's one thing to recognize when this upheaval comes and the change comes. How do I respond? Am I gripping? Am I clinging? Or am I allowing and letting it wash over me? So it's just an awareness of when we revert like that. And then we pull change again. So we got, change, cling to the past, and then we have change again. And this is just, I like this because it's a gentler way of approaching change, is just to know that instead of, being in this spin and, maybe on the outer edges, that's where we grip and that's where we resist, is to just find your center, rest in the middle, let that chaos move around you, and it's fine, because what it's doing is it's bringing you new choices, new options, new ways, new paths. But if you maintain your alignment in the middle of it, it's not as tumultuous for you energetically. And then I pulled trust once again. We pulled trust in the last spread, and this is a reminder of that trust. The change came, the change is happening, but I know that it's bringing about growth, new choices, a new vantage point for me from which to plot my way forward. So trusting in that, and instead of focusing on maybe the pain that the change causes, instead focus on, how will I transform this? How will this outcome come? And just real quickly, I wanted to clarify, we will cling and we will have an emotional response to change. Allow yourself to be with that and feel that, but don't cling to it. Don't ignore it and go, I don't have to feel scared. I do feel I'm frightened, I'm unsure, I'm worried, and I know that the universe will provide for me, and I know that my transformation is on its way. It can be both.
Absolutely.
Right.
Acknowledge, right? Acknowledge and
just keep the awareness of it.
Right. I always use that mantra. I'm that which is aware of what I'm feeling in my body. I'm that which is aware of what I'm acknowledging as anger or fear, whatever it is. I'm that which is aware, and then we acknowledge it, we allow it, and then we focus on what we know to be true, that we're going to get through it, that the pain can be transmuted, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah.
And what ways that we can create movement forward,
right?
Even if it's just a shift in focus, right? Focusing on the abundance around
but us. Actually, that's the most essential shift, is in focus, in perspective, because what we focus on expands.
Yes, definitely.
So if we're focusing on, I'm in so much pain and I'm suffering, which is fine to acknowledge, but if that's where we stay, we don't move on. We never do. We never do. Right. Exactly. So anyway, just wanted to add that.
And then the next thing I pulled is, nothing will come, is a void of course moon. Nothing will come of this situation. So this is kind of saying, that big scary thing that came with the thunderstorm will pass. Like, we don't have to, like Maria was saying, we don't have to cling to that and take that road, which is going to be rocky and scary and upheaval.
Right.
We can just acknowledge it. There's upheaval. Okay, let me just rest in the center and see how this plays out. So that, scariness doesn't have to come, all the way to your doorstep, right? Or it doesn't have to, pitch a tent in your head or your home.
Right.
You can just allow it to be there and let it pass. If you know the change, nothing's going to come of this if I focus on my forward motion. And then I got abundance. I focus on my abundance and those things that are to be appreciated in my life. And I'm not talking just about, financial security. The abundance gets correlated with that a lot, but to me, there's abundance everywhere, in every flower that blooms, right? In every, bird that you hear squawking, or, every purr that your cat makes, that's abundance too. And the feeling you get when you're with loved ones, that's abundance. It's anywhere where you feel that richness in your being and in your life experience. Focusing on that and the things that there are to appreciate brings about the answers you want. I got the answers you need are coming. And this is part of that trust. This is like the last leg of that trust tour, if you want to say it like that, because once you shift that focus, allow the crap show to go on all around you, and just know you're held, know your answers will come. The clarity is coming after the storm. And then you see them, and that's the road we've traveled, from that thunderstorm to the clarity. And then again, I pulled transformation, just like in the last spread, from a different deck, and that's just sort of cementing this process, and knowing that every challenge like that, we can transform it, and it helps us in transforming our own being and evolving energetically. And little instances of those that add up creates a bigger transformation overall. And that's it.
Yeah, beautiful. This, I feel like there's so much in this reading, but I feel like really it's ultimately about transforming our relationship to scarcity and lack, right? Into trusting sufficiency and abundance, and allowing that flow. And what we focus on is so, so, so critical. Like, we're all going to go through challenges. We go through challenges all the time. It's part of life. If that's what we stay fixated on and we stay stuck in that, that's what we create more of. We have to acknowledge it, allow it, and then release it and move on, and allow the transformation to take place. Easier said than done, right? That's why we use these practices. We breathe, we stay in community that supports that work too. So
yeah, you'll never get it all done. It's always, because we're going to be new opportunities of this all the time, but
because we're always up leveling. That potential and that opportunity is always there.
I see it as kind of like a big ship, and you just kind of have to point your rudder, point it in a new way, so that you start to move in that way, instead of I've got to turn this way now. There's a process to it. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, and it's a small shift of the rudder in a ship that allows that major transformation to occur, right? Just a small adjustment, and then it allows this major shift to occur. So I think that's really a perfect example. All right, well, just want to invite everybody to again pause before we close and just take a moment to anchor, ground, and clarify your intention for what you want to bring your focus to this week. And have a beautiful, beautiful week. Thank you.